Great. Is it the presentation visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good. और मैं भी audible हूँ मतलब आंसर आया है तो ठीक है. So basically, see what all we have learned throughout our course. Majorly, we were learning about the assets, different asset classes, how to play in those asset classes, how to invest in them, how to trade them. But again, they all were individual asset classes. When we talk with respect to the investment, we have to understand investment may there is a portfolio. We have to balance a portfolio so that it is like every season portfolio because market doesn't go straight away on the in
सर
the upward direction. Yeah.
ये रिवीजन है ना प्रीवियस क्लास का कि नया है?
नहीं नहीं ये लास्ट क्लास का रिवीजन नहीं है. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू द बेसिक डेफिनेशन देन उसके बाद आगे जाऊंगा.
ओके
मतलब starting maybe some 5-7 minutes might be revising like that. So basically, what we do is we majorly invest in the term of portfolio. So portfolio mein we allocate our money. When we're talking about portfolio, we're talking about the financial portfolio. So we allocate our money in different assets. So majorly we talk about four assets. One is equity, debt, real estate, and gold. I'm not going in depth because we've already covered what all these assets are and kya applications hai. Now, thing is ki what is the reason why we develop a portfolio is because one is we want to optimize the profits or maximize the profits and optimize the risk because every asset class has its own risk associated with it. When we want to reduce the risk or we want to let's say optimize it, for example, Elster, again I'm taking an example but not in that way, don't worry. So let's say ki when you have to lift a let's say heavy boulder from the mid. So Elster is going to gym. He's active. He can pull it. He can push it right now. But the scene is that instead of Elster, Suraj is there, right? Now Suraj right now is not in a good condition. He's ill, so he might not be even able to little bit shake it also. By the time Elster comes, Elster also tries to apply his you say power because he's coming from gym, and then stone start. Start moving in the direction you wanted to shift it, right? So this is a mix of portfolio. Now let's say this particular boulder is on a sliding path, on an inclined plane. Here you what you want to do is you want to pull it up. Now when you're pulling it up, definitely you need more power because one is to push it, other is to hold where you can push it, right? So there you will be requiring let's say Anirudh, Ayan, all other people who will be sitting at the top of the inclined plane and they are pulling it from other side. Let's say it has two hooks where you can tie it with the rope. Now rope is tied on the stone. From down, Suraj and Elsie are pulling up, pushing it up, and from there, from the upside, they are pulling it up. Right? When you guys are not able to push, they are able to pull. So both the forces are matching each other. Somewhere, if it has started sliding down, they are able to hold it. This is how your portfolio also works. When you balance it in a way that it favors you most, that when you're pushing it up, when the markets are going decently up, then Elster and Suraj both are pushing, and people standing on the top, they are also pulling. So your whole of the portfolio is giving you maximum returns. When the markets are not in a good shape, that means when Elster and Suraj are tired, then at the time the store is supposed to come down, but the people standing at the top, they are able to hold it at the same position or at least at the position where it is not sliding much. Sometimes it is quite possible that they can pull a little bit up on the other side also, depending on the asset allocation. Let's say out of 8, only 2 people are allowed to sit on the top to handle it, right? So if those 2 people are strong enough to hold it and strong enough to even pull it by themselves, then definitely in the worst case also the stone will be started moving up. In the same way, portfolio also works where we have to allocate our finances, allocate our money in all the four assets what we talk about in a way that in all season, whether the markets are down, whether the markets are sideways, whether markets are upways, we are getting maximum profit. So the main objective of the portfolio building is to maximize the profit and to minimize or optimize the risk. Risk should be optimized or minimized, right? So it basically says the portfolio management meaning can be explained as the process of managing individual investments so that they maximize their earning within a given time horizon, minimize market risk, profitable investment mix. All the investment assets should be in a way that the mix should be in a way that it gives you a profitable returns. Allocating assets as per the risk and the financial goals. Now, this is very important. ऐसा नहीं है कि markets are looking from here. I always say that markets are looking decent. आप लोग invest करो. Unfortunately, by the time you're leaving, markets have moved up very drastically, which I have been saying since starting. कि within 3-4 months, you will see that markets are moving wonderfully good, and markets have given that particular move, which was much expected. Now, from here onwards, market has expected to move more higher. Does it mean that it will keep on moving higher? No. It will go up, it will come down, again it will go up. But again, when we see end to end holding period, for example, holding period is if I'm looking at today, which is 5th of December, and if I look at again 5th of December 2025, I will see definitely a upward movement. If today Nifty is 20,000 or 21,000, rather 20,600 something it has closed, 800 something it has closed today, so 21,000. Quite possible 2025 we see Nifty standing at somewhere around, let's say, 26,000. So 5,000 points of jump we'll be looking into the Nifty. So we can say that Nifty has moved up. That means markets have moved up. We can very easily say that markets have gone up in the ladder. But does that mean that Nifty went from 21,000 to 26,000, 25,000 straight away? No. It went from 21 to 23, then at 23 to it came back again to 22. Again it went up. Like that it kept on moving, right? So Nifty kept on moving like that. So we have to allocate the assets that first of all are suitable to the risk profile of the client. Now I am aggressive client, so I would love to have more of the more of the equities, because I can sustain with that particular pressure. When Nifty is falling down by 2,000 points or 3,000 points or 10% or 20%, I am okay with it because I understand the nature of it. But on the contrary, if I talk about my father, who is very conservative, who does not invest in equities at all, आप उनको बोलोगे कि सर 10% तो रखो कम से कम या 50%, so he will die of heart attack when he see the fall of 20%, 30% in the market, right? Because उनको क्या दिखेगा, उनका पैसा आधा हो गया. So he will not be able to sustain this pressure and he will start panicking. So you have to understand the risk profile of the individual and what are the financial goals. If I have a specific goal for my daughter, for example, I'm giving you live example. Yesterday, I had a discussion with one of my client. The client has a special child, right? So he said, Kuldeep, I want to keep this money for my special child secure. So secure means he only has one thing, that is debt, where the return of capital is guaranteed. He is having huge amount of money, but there's certain amount which, as per his calculation, is kept it secure, that I want to keep this money for my child, special child. I don't know what requirement will come in future because he's a special child. So he has kept that money specifically in debts, which is FDs, fixed deposits, and your bonds, right? Does he understand equity markets? He understands equity markets very well. Does he understand the nature that equity markets during the long term will be giving wonderful returns? He understands very well because he himself is a fundamental analyst. His wife is a technical analyst. They both are dealing in equities. His wife has been derivative equity and derivative head in a research firm. So that clearly says that they understand the nature of the equity markets very well. But again, they have a specific financial goal for their child. That's why they are not touching that money towards, or not pushing that money towards any other asset class except the debt class, right? So we have to take care of these two instruments very well. One is the risk profile of the client, other is the financial goals. If we can match the requirement of these two, then whatever portfolio we build in, that portfolio would be the model portfolio for that particular individual. Does that mean the portfolio should be same for everyone? No, not at all. Suraj is highly aggressive person who can take 102% of equities. 2% एक्स्ट्रा कहां से आएगा? वो एल्स्टर की भी पोर्टफोलियो में से 2% अपना लेगा कि एल्स्टर थोड़ा सा मेरी तरफ से ले ले. I will take it. I mean, whatever plus minus it goes, I'll do it with you. We'll just settle down. तो 100% तो खुद का ले लिया. 2% एल्स्टर के पोर्टफोलियो में भी सूरज ने लेके रखा है. So that way 102%, right? So, and on the other side, Shireen could be कि नहीं, I don't want to invest into equities at all. Let me stay with the debt, or let's say the real estate or the gold. Being a girl, she can take advantage of gold, so she can stay with the gold, right? So these things happen if you understand the risk profile. Definitely every person has a different risk appetite, and risk appetite always differs with respect to your financial financial power. That means the money available with you and your goals and your what you can say, motive to invest or motive to get the returns about, right? Your age and other factors also help you out. Now, what other thing which portfolio management does is diversifying resources to combat capital erosion. So, what is the basic fundamental definition of investment is to protect your capital, preservation of capital, and to grow it. That is the basic. That is the basic nature why we invest. Because when we invest, we don't say कि ठीक है यार ये हो सकता है 10% नीचे चला जाए. We always say कि if I am investing, ये 10% ऊपर जाएगा. ये मेरे को 20% का रिटर्न देगा. We never say कि 10% नीचे चला जाएगा. We always say कि ऊपर जाएगा. So capital को erode होने से बचाना is one of the prime motive of ours to invest in any asset class. Got it? So portfolio समझ में आया मोटा मोटी?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shireen ma'am,
Yes, sir.
good. ऑब्जेक्टिव्स अगेन सेम जो भी अपन ने डिस्कस किया वहीं से आता है. कैपिटल एप्रिसिएट होना चाहिए. हमने पोर्टफोलियो को अलोकेट किया है इन अ वे जहां पर हमने डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एसेट क्लासेस में डाला है. सो आर मोटिव शुड बी कि अगर आज क्लाइंट ने 100 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किया है, सो कैपिटल शुड कीप ऑन एप्रिशिएटिंग, इट शुड नॉट डेप्रिशिएट. ठीक है. Risk optimization and return maximization, that is again the motive of building a portfolio. Flexibility of the portfolio. The portfolio should be flexible enough that whenever you want, you can change it. Now, to give you a good example of it, in equities, if you're putting your money into the penny stocks, do you understand what penny stocks are? I'm sure Suraj understands.
Stocks. हाँ.
Shireen ma'am, you, Ayan को भी मालूम होगा. Ayan दिखता सीधा है, but Ayan
Yes,
is
sir.
very knowledgeable. हाँ
हाँ सर, पता है.
हाँ, Ayan पता सब है. Shireen ma'am, what about you?
सर आपने लास्ट क्लास में मेंशन तो किया था, मतलब थोड़ा थोड़ा याद है मेरे को.
Okay, so penny stocks are same. I mean, जब भी ऐसा हो हमेशा सिंपल पे जाओ. penny means जो 54-58 के भाव पे मिलते हैं. I mean, pretty low valued stock जिसमें trading नहीं हो रही है and they are like less than 10 rupees, 5 rupees, 2 rupees, 30 paisa, 50 paisa, like that. Right? So those are penny stocks. So let's say Suraj comes up with the news, because Suraj is amongst us. Suraj is a businessman. I mean, belongs to a business family, and he is actively participating in the business also. He comes up कि यार मेरा एक client है और उस client की company है, and वो टर्न अराउंड करने वाला है कंपनी. उसकी कंपनी का स्टॉक जो है अभी 6 रुपए का है. लेट्स बाय इट. सो आई विल आस्क व्हिच कंपनी इट इज. सो सूरज सेज इट इज यस बैंक. लेट्स बाय इट. Right? As soon as you bought Yes Bank at 6 rupees, RBI comes up with a regulation that for 3 years you cannot come out of that particular stock. Your money is blocked. Right? The stock went from 6 to 86 within no time, but you were not able to sell it. Why? Because RBI has said that you cannot sell it. Got it? So penny stocks are such that where you, instead of knowing that your money is growing, but you cannot come out. Why? Because liquidity is sometimes very less. So Yes Bank, there was a regulation, but for that matter, take any other example. A stock, penny stock usually moves in circuits, 5%, 10%, 11%, 20%, like that, where you don't have exit, because if you want to sell 1,000 shares, probably they are only trading 200 shares for the day. There are only 200 shares which were traded for that particular day. So how can you sell 1,000 shares? So it will take days, maybe weeks for you to sell your portfolio. And when you start selling it, then definitely you might not even earn a single penny. Leave aside earning, you might lose all your money also. So there you don't have liquidity into it, right? So that particular liquidity stops you from changing the asset class at the time when you want it. So flexibility is gone. So in that case, if you look into the asset class altogether different, that is real estate. If you have 2 crore rupees, out of 2 crore rupees, 1 crore 50 lakhs, you bought one particular property, not for consumption, but for investment purpose. Now all of a sudden you want to sell it. Now you said that real estate is the class which is not going to give us return in future, and equity is going to give us a better return. Let's sell this real estate and buy or assign this particular, allocate this particular fund into equity markets. But you are trying to find a buyer who can buy your real estate, which might take 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, maybe a year, or maybe more than that. We don't know. So again, it is stopping your flexibility. So that is something which we should avoid while making a portfolio. So again, one of the important objective of the portfolio is that it should be flexible. Whenever you want to change asset class, you should be able to do it, right? Protecting earnings against market risk. This is something which we will understand. We will do some calculations on this particular line. Allocating assets as per risk and financial goals. We've understood if I am aggressive person, and as per the, let's say, in-house view, the risk asset allocation as of now is that 75% of my allocation should be in equities, 20% debt, and 5% gold. I'm talking about the aggressive risk profile. Then as per my risk profile, it should be 75, 20, and 5, right? It should not be that 25, 25, 50. It should not be like this, or it should not be distorted like a 50, 25, 25. So it should be as per my risk profile. Diversifying resources to combat capital erosion. Again, capital erosion is important part in portfolio management. So we have to understand how to combat in the situation when capital is going up. आप छोटा सा portfolio का example लेते हैं. ये I'm just saying it. I will give it in the exam. This question will come direct. So pay very close attention, because it is not from the exam perspective. This is very practical in nature, which will help you throughout your life also to manage your own investments, right? Let's say I'm taking an aggressive risk profiler. So aggressive ka allocation is
75, 20, and 5.
equity में 75,
Debt 20.
debt में 20, and gold में
Gold.
5. Right?
Gold as in gold sovereign bonds or ETFs?
Anything.
Okay.
Right? This is asset allocation. Let's say I invested 100 rupees. Correct?
So we won't include real estate in this?
No, I'm not including real estate because I am saying that
Stock
we are
market की बात कर.
because real estate is something where you need a big amount of money. So basically, real estate, for investment purpose, should always be come in handy when a person is having a net worth of somewhere around 10 CR and plus. Because to buy a good piece of real estate, you need 1.5 crores or at least 1 crores. I mean, to decent piece of your real estate. If you're having only 2 crores, so 50% goes to the real estate, which is not at all good asset allocation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. So let's say initial investment is 100 rupees. So equity may how much I put it? I put 75 rupees, or let me copy it from up. If I put initial investment of 100 rupees, everything will be like this, right? After 2 years, this is in, sorry, you're saying something?
No.
This is December 5, 2023. Now let's say what is the final value. Let's find out final value on December 5, 2025. Let's assume that equity has moved up. Now there is one concept which is called holding period return. Holding period return is कि I have holded this particular equity from December 5 to December 5, 23 to December 5, 25. That means my holding period is 2 years. So I will be talking about absolute return. Here, absolute return is, let's say that equity has given me a return of absolute return of 100%. I'm just taking 100% return. So this means the value of equity would be how much? 150. Correct. Let's say that debt has given a return of absolute return of 20%. I'm just taking arbitrary example. If 20% return has been given on debt, then 20% of 20 would be how much? 4. So my total value of debt would be how much? 24.
20.
Correct. Let's assume the same return comes in gold. This is absolute return in 2 years. I'm getting it. So gold ka absolute return comes up a little higher, but I'm taking it this one. So 20% means somewhere around 1. That means 6. So what would be the value of my portfolio?
180.
180. So on portfolio, I have earned how much? 80%.
Yeah, 80%.
Now the thing is कि when my equity has come up at 100%, here when I was investing at this particular moment, my view was that equity markets are bullish, correct?
Yeah.
That is stable, right? Now here my view comes out that first of all that the equity markets can remain bullish. I mean, my view doesn't change over here. This is the first scenario that my view doesn't change. In that case, what will be my asset allocation? Same 75, 20 and 5, correct?
Hmm.
This is scenario 1. I'll put it. Equity are bullish and debt is stable. So my allocation should be 75, 20 and okay. Mouse is not working properly. Anyways. So I have 180. What is 75% of 180? I'll open calculator for you guys, which will help me also to calculate quick. Calculate दिख रहा है सबको?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But ये scientific क्यों है? Standard दिखाओ भाई.
Huh.
So 180 multiplied by 0.75, which gives me 135. So my equity allocation should be 135. But as of now, it is how much? It is 150. That means how much I have to reduce?
सर ये समझा नहीं, एक बार वापस बताओ.
देखो अभी यहाँ पर 2 साल के बाद में क्या हुआ, मैंने 100 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किया 75, 20 और 5 के बीच में, करेक्ट? ये मैंने इन्वेस्ट कब किया था? दिसंबर 5, 2023 में. मेरा उस टाइम पे व्यू था इक्विटीज आर बुलिश एंड डेट वुड बी स्टेबल, करेक्ट? 2025 after 2 years, so my holding period is 2 years, so my holding period return for equity was 100%. that means 75 की वैल्यू जो हो गई वो हो गई 150. डेट की जो रिटर्न थी, होल्डिंग पीरियड रिटर्न HPR बोलते हैं उसको, दैट उसका रिटर्न कितना रहा? 20% था, तो उसकी वैल्यू हो गई 24, बिकॉज मैंने 20 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किए थे. गोल्ड में मैंने 5 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किए थे, उस पर भी 20% रिटर्न आया, तो उसकी फाइनल वैल्यू हो गई 6. टोटल पोर्टफोलियो की वैल्यू हो गई 180, राइट?
ठीक है.
मेरा पोर्टफोलियो पे HPR यानी होल्डिंग पीरियड रिटर्न है, दैट इज 80%, करेक्ट? क्योंकि 100 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किया था, मेरे पोर्टफोलियो की वैल्यू हो गई 80%. नाउ सीन 1, I am saying कि the view is same, equities are bullish and debt is stable. So इसका मतलब मेरा asset allocation जो है वो ये होना चाहिए वापस से, equities should be 75%, debt should be 20% and gold should be 5% of the portfolio value, right? तो अभी मेरी portfolio value कितनी है? 180.
Yeah.
180 का if I do 75%, it comes out 135.
हाँ.
करेक्ट? सो 135 आना चाहिए, बट अभी मेरी एक्चुअल वैल्यू क्या है इक्विटी का? 150.
150, yeah.
करेक्ट? सो आई हैव टू रिड्यूस द वैल्यू ऑफ इक्विटी बाय 15 टू मेक इट 135, बिकॉज मेरे को असेट एलोकेशन प्रॉपर करना है ना 75%. अभी इट इज मोर देन 75%. सो लेट्स से अभी what is the asset allocation if I look into? So my asset allocation is 83%, it is in equities. So
Yeah.
I have to reduce it to make it 75%. So I have to reduce it by 15, correct?
Yeah.
Now 180 multiplied by 0.2, which says 36. Here in gold, sorry, in debt. In debt, the value as of now is 24, right? But how much I have to make it? I have to make it 36. Sorry, I have
Increase.
Reverse. Wait. I have to make the allocation to 36, but what is the actual value? It is 24. So I have to increase
by 12.
Debt by 12, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Now gold is simple. Gold का value कितना होना चाहिए? It is again 5%. 5% of 18. 0.05 multiplied by 180. It is 9. So gold should be 9. And it is how much as of now? It is 6 as of now. So I have to increase
by 3.
by 3, right? So that
Yeah, it
means यहाँ पे I have to rebalance my portfolio where I will book some profit in equities and I will reduce equities by 15. I book profit by 15 so that its value comes down to 135. And this 15 I will divide, 12 rupees I will put into debt and 3 rupees I will put into gold. So my new
Yeah.
portfolio allocation would be
This is after 2 years, right?
this is after balancing.
Okay.
$135. 36, 9.
9.
Right? Portfolio value is how much? 180. Right? Now consider continuing this particular scene again. If our portfolio again grows by, let's say, another 80% in 2 years, again we have to rebalance it, right? We'll rebalance it. We always will keep on rebalancing as per the view. Now here, in this particular situation, what we did is we invested 100 rupees during the start. We earned 80%, while our portfolio went. But what was important is what is our view? Our view was equities are bullish and debt is stable. Correct? Here our view
Yes.
continued. This was scene 1 that our view continued. Now let's take scene 2.
बट सर इक्विटीज अपने को ज्यादा रिटर्न दे रही है तो अपने बैलेंसिंग करके कम में क्यों डाले पैसा?
बता देते हैं scene 2 के लिए.
Okay.
Equities are bearish. That means I am expecting equity market to fall.
True.
Correct? If I'm expecting equity markets to fall, in that case, what I will do is, यहाँ पर जो value थी, initial value, which is this one only. I initially लिया ना मैंने? नहीं, initial नहीं लिया. This is my initial value. ठीक है? Rather take it this one. इसके बाद मैं बोलता हूँ यहाँ पे मेरा
150 वाला.
हाँ, correct.
हाँ.
यहाँ से मैं बोलता हूँ मेरी जो है value change हुई. So my view changes after this. That now equities
So
are
after
bullish.
this is after 2025.
Correct. This is after 2025. Once we have attained the value, this is after that. So this is my portfolio value. Correct?
Yes sir.
इसको मैं अगर यहाँ पे rebalance नहीं करता हूँ, first case scenario scene 2 में, now there will be 2 cases. One is I rebalance it. Second is I don't rebalance it. Let's say my equity fell by 40%.
Okay.
Right? Debt में fall होने का कोई chance नहीं है, तो debt is giving me return, let's say 10%.
Okay.
Gold can give negative returns, so gold I'm expecting, but since equity fall हुई है, तो gold में भी I'm expecting that in gold you have got 15% of return.
हाँ.
ठीक है? Let's be reasonable and legitimate. So 40% से जब equity गई, तो what would be the new value of equity? 15 चौक 60 यानी 90 rupees. Equity would be 90 क्योंकि 40% से fall हो गया.
Yes sir.
Debt को हमने 10% से बढ़ाया. That means 26.4.
4. हाँ.
Correct? New value. Ayan, Shireen ma'am, you are there with me?
Yes, sir.
Completely, because this is the direct question which I will be asking in the exam. Mind it. With a decent allocation to the marks. Gold is up by 15%, so 15 check 90 यानी 6.9.
हाँ 7, around 7. हाँ.
Around 7. Let's take it round figures. So around 7. Let's take it 26.
26.
Right? So what is the portfolio value?
116, 123.
123, right? So what happened to my portfolio value from 180? It came down to 123.
123.
So this is scene 2 and condition A.
Condition A. हाँ.
Where I did not balance the portfolio. Now scene 2,
Okay.
condition B, where I balance the portfolio. So portfolio जब मैंने balance किया तो this is my balanced portfolio, right?
हाँ हाँ हाँ
Following with मतलब follow कर रहे हो ना?
हाँ
Scene
हाँ
2
हाँ
after balancing, ठीक है? So अब इसमें भी fall जो है मैं same देता हूँ, fell by 40%,
हाँ
40% down. This is 10% up, 10% मेरे भाई, and this is 15% up, right? So again, let's do the calculation. 13 दूनी 26, 52 और 54,
54
हाँ
54 हाँ
54, तो 54 माइनस करो
81
81,
हम्म
81, 134, हाँ correct. 81 would be the equity value.
हम्म
That would be how much? 10% debt, और ये तो same ही रहेगा.
39.6 40 ले लो
Sorry, 36 का ये हो जाएगा 10%, हाँ 40 ले लेते हैं, 40 राउंड फिगर, ठीक है. एंड gold would be again 15% up, that means 5 and 45, 130, तो 1 ले लेते हैं, 1.5 ले लेते हैं, which will give us 10. 1 ही ले लेते हैं, 10.
हाँ
So what would be the new portfolio value?
131
131, 121, 131. यहाँ पर कितना आया था? 123.
हम्म
यहाँ पे कितना आया? 131.
131
So when we have a market view and market understanding that the portfolio can fall, that means the market can fall, we should always book certain profit in an asset class which is giving you higher profits, and we should reallocate and rebalance it. This rebalancing exercise can take this thing rational view कि like 75% मेरा allocation है, जब तक ये 85% equity 85% से ऊपर नहीं जाएगी, I will not reallocate. I will keep it same.
हम्म
This can be done in this way, और कि 5% से ऊपर नहीं जाएगी. This is done as per the risk profile of the client, as per the management of the portfolio manager. But the point over here is कि if I rebalance this portfolio, I was able to save 8 rupees over here, right?
हम्म
Which is a huge amount. अब इसको मैं
yeah
अगर मैं इसके आगे मैं सिंपल सा एक छोटे से 2 वर्ड लगा दूं तो नाउ दिस 8 crore is a huge amount, correct?
yeah
The thing is कि when we are talking about portfolios, this is always added behind it. I mean, this always follows. So we have to understand what is the importance of balancing. But again, balancing a portfolio is completely dependent on this particular statement. If we are having a view where we want that equities, because as of now we are looking markets in a very bullish way, so that's why we are saying कि aggressive के लिए भी equity का allocation जो है वो कम से कम 25% or 75% होना चाहिए. But when we are in a view that equity का allocation should be the markets are bearish, then we have a different stance in allocation. Then we say that the equity allocation should not be more than 50%. उस केस में क्या होगा, जैसे अपन यहाँ पहुंचे 180 पे, here I say कि my equity allocation should not be more than 50%. So that means my allocation over here will change.
90
50% होना
rupees हो
चाहिए, so it should be 90, and I say कि then it
हाँ
should be 40%. So 1836 72, so 72% should go in debt, right? And 10% will go in this thing, what you call say gold.
18
अब यहाँ पे जो वैल्यू आएगी वो वैल्यू और भी अच्छी आएगी. 45, my equity will fall only by this much. 72 का 10% up is 9, so 81, and 18 का 15% is 18 पंजे 90, 9 और 1.8, 2.7. So let's take it 21 round figure. So how much my value would increase to?
48 120 126 147
147. See, so this is what balancing is called. अब मैंने जब यहाँ पे व्यू अपना चेंज किया तो मैंने असेट एलोकेशन भी चेंज कर दिया यहाँ पर,
ट्रू
क्योंकि ये एसेट एलोकेशन, नाउ दिस एसेट एलोकेशन इज हेल्पिंग मी प्रिजर्व माय कैपिटल. सो मेरा कैपिटल यहाँ पे कितना हो गया, अब यहाँ पर कितना आ रहा था 123, यहाँ पे कितना आ रहा है 147. नाउ 180 का परसेंटेज निकालूं तो 147 डिवाइडेड बाय 180, दिस इज हाउ मच, 81%, राइट? और 123 डिवाइडेड बाय 180 दिस इज हाउ मच, 68%. So I am
58%.
basically saving more than 13% of fall. मार्केट कितना भी गिरे
Yeah.
मेरा पोर्टफोलियो नहीं गिर रहा है. सो आई एम प्रिजर्विंग द कैपिटल, आई एम एलोकेटिंग इट. अब यहाँ पर आके व्हेन आई से एट दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टेज दैट नाउ इक्विटीज आर अगेन बुलिश, तो 147 का 50% 75%, so 0.75 multiplied by 147. Now my equity allocation here after this I can go it to 110. फिर वापस से उसका सेम बढ़ाओगे तो पता पड़ेगा हाउ द पोर्टफोलियोज आर ग्रोइंग. सो दिस इज द वे वी कीप ऑन रीबैलेंसिंग द पोर्टफोलियोज. अच्छा, दिस पर्टिकुलर क्लास इज गोइंग टू एंड. मैं वापस से लिंक आपको शेयर करता हूं. अभी आई थिंक अभी नहीं कर पाऊंगा, इट विल टेक 10 minutes. बट दिस इज यू गॉट एवरीथिंग. आई मीन यू गाइस अंडरस्टूड ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is what rebalancing is. I'll just share the link. I'll borrow the link from someone else and I'll share it with you guys. We'll complete. So there are two scenes. One scene is that my view on the markets is bullish, still continuing. So there again, the allocation of the asset says what is my bullish aggressive risk profile allocation is that equity should be 75% of the portfolio, debt should be 20% of the portfolio, gold should be 5% of the portfolio, right? With me?
Yes.
Right? So now the new value of my portfolio is 180. So I would rebalance 75% of 180 is 150 and 20% of 180 is 24 and gold is 6. That is 5% of 180 is 6. So I will, 75% of 180 is 135 and 20% of 180 is 36 and 5% of 180 is 9. So what I will do is, since my new value of equity is 150, I will rebalance by reducing 15 rupees. That means booking some profit in equities and allocating this particular 15 rupees as 12 rupees in debt and 3 rupees in gold, because that will balance the portfolio as per the risk profiler, aggressive risk profiler requirement. Ye clear hai?
Yes.
To everyone, Shireen ma'am, Ayan?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Great. So I balance the portfolio. ठीक है, and this is the portfolio. इसके बाद अगर मेरे equity के जो भी returns आएंगे, again we will do the same exercise. That after 2 years, 3 years, whenever whatever view we have. So usually we always review the portfolio on quarterly basis at least. I'm giving you 2 years example, but usually the review should be quarterly basis. Why quarterly basis? Because we follow the financial calendars and review changes with the quarter, because if you have invested in an equity, that particular company is going to give you results after every quarter. And if that company is not following the same criteria or the same path which it has shown, then definitely we need to change. Same happens with the government policies also, because whatever equity market has to give return, that is very much close knitted with respect to the economy. And what is happening in the economy is very much related to the global economy as well the government action. So we have to review every quarter. This is a mandatory guideline. Usually people don't follow, but mandatory guideline as in mandatory to keep the good health of the portfolio. Like it is mandatory that everyone should do exercise of at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. But usually we do 30 minutes a day, but 5 days a year, not a week, right? The mandatory thing is to keep ourselves in a healthy, our body healthy. We need to do it every week, but usually we don't do it. So in the same way, portfolios every quarter, they should be reviewed, but most of the people don't review it, right? So that way it is mandatory. Now we rebalance it. This is scene 1 finished. The scene 2 is that equities, our stance, our view on the market changes. That from here the equity markets are bearish, right? And debt is stable. Now, because debt always stays stable. Now here in this, we will have 2 scenarios. One scenario is that we do not rebalance the portfolio. What we got from the initial up move, we did not balance it. So if we did not balance it, the new portfolio value, if let's say our equity fell by 40%, our debt went up by 10%, gold went up by 15%. So the new equity, the new portfolio value will be 123. So from 180, our portfolio value will come down to 123. Since we did not change the portfolio value, or we did not reallocate or rebalance the portfolio, right? This is scene 1. Scene 2, in the same, sub scene 2 of 2. It is that after balancing the portfolio, we saw that 75% of equity is this thing. Sorry, since we are having a stance, this one, that equities are bearish, at this particular stance, what happens is that asset allocation also changes. Asset allocation changes in a way that your equity should be only 50%, your debt should be 40%, and your gold should be 10% of your portfolio value. So my portfolio value is how much? 180. With me?
Yes.
So 50% of equity would be 90. And 40% of 180 would be 72, and 10% of 180 would be 18. So I rebalanced my portfolio as per the stance, because now my stance is that equities are bearish, and in this stance I have to allocate only 50% to the equity, right? So that's why I allocated only 50% to the equity. Since I allocated only 50% to the equity, so what happens is, let's say after holding period, equity went down by 40%. So new value of the equity would be, I have taken 50%. Sorry,
45.
sorry, नहीं 45 नहीं होगा, 36 minus होगा ना. So it would be 54. My bad, because I did it
Oh, right,
50%.
40% down हो रहा है ना?
हाँ, तो 90 का 40% होगा ना.
Yes sir, yes sir.
40% of 90. हाँ, तो मेरा कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक था. Anyways, so debt जो है वो 10% से अप हो रहा है. So I am taking roughly 9. यहाँ पे 72 का 10% is 7.2, which is 79.2. So I'm taking it 81. Let's do it 80. And 18 का 15% comes about somewhere around 3. So this would be the new value of this portfolio would be 134, 154, 155. Right?
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah.
Great. So यहाँ
Yes, sir,
पर
yes,
हमने यहाँ पर हमने क्या किया था, when our stance was bearish for equities, we did not change the portfolio allocation. हमने जैसा starting में चल रहा है उसको चलने दिया. So new portfolio value was 123, correct? But as soon as we change our value over here, we rebalance the portfolio, we reduce the equity allocation as per the in-house view, that when we are looking bearishness in the market, we should reduce our equity exposure to 50%. We reduce our equity exposure to 50%. That helps us to procure or protect our capital. So 180 से कितना गिरा? 55, 155, ज्यादा नहीं गिरा, right? जबकि यहाँ पर we fell to 123. So huge difference. We saved almost 13-14% over here, just by rebalancing as per the condition, as per the financial market situation or view on the financial markets. So this is how we protect our capital while rebalancing. Understood?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir,
ma'am?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So this is one way, right? Now there is another way, which is I am just taking it name as a beta way. Beta याद है सबको?
Yes.
Let's say you have a equity whose equity stock I'm talking about, whose beta is 1.2, or rather make it 2, right? There is another stock in portfolio, beta is let's say 1.2, right? And there is a debt part whose beta is 1.1. There is gold allocation whose beta is 1.6 for that matter, right? Now allocation of these assets for this stock is, let's say 25% of the portfolio. Allocation of this particular stock, let's say it is 25 की जगह पे यहाँ पे 35 कर देते हैं, और यहाँ पे कर देते हैं 45%, सॉरी 40%. तो 75 से पूरा हो जाएगा. डेट को हम लोग 20% ही रखते हैं, और इसको हम लोग रखते हैं 5%, राइट? नाउ इसमें we have to find out a beta of portfolio. So beta of portfolio would be This would be nothing but beta of individual asset. So 2 multiplied by 35, 0.35. ये सारे के सारे बीटास को मल्टीप्लाई करके ऐड करना. That is simple what beta allocation is, right? So that will be the new beta of my portfolio. The whole portfolio का beta कितना आ जाएगा?
Beta is basically risk, right?
Beta is basically volatility, not risk.
Volatility.
मेरा portfolio कितना volatile है? So I can rearrange the volatility. So जब हम जो बेसिकली यहाँ पर जो हमको चेंज दिखाना, वो चेंज हमको कहाँ से आया? हमने हाई बीटा से लो बीटा में चले गए. When I increase the value of low beta, it actually reduces the value of overall portfolio. This happens. This is what is happening behind the scenes. That's why our value of the portfolio is not coming down. ये समझा?
Yes.
Good. So this is basically the completion of our course. Principal protect कैसे करते हैं? This is the way how we protect the principal. We have understood everything with respect to the trading, with respect to investments in equities, with respect to investment in debt. So I am sure that now you are all ready for your exams also.